In this lesson, we're going to cover how to create your project backlog. A backlog is a series of projects that you may work on in the future. This is a way to organize work that you could do, but you're not currently working on. So from the CoSchedule calendar, we're going to actually navigate to the Ideas tab. And this is where your project backlog will be held. Now you can see that I already have some ideas. An idea in CoSchedule is simply a project that is not actively being worked on and is not scheduled, right? So anything that is not scheduled is called an idea. And then scheduled projects would show up in the calendar. So the idea is sort of the opposite of the calendar. This is where we work on unscheduled work. Now, right now I only have one status, one type of idea, just called idea, and that's not going to be very conducive for an agile workflow, so I'm going to need to edit that. To do that, go ahead and go to your calendar settings, click on statuses, and you can see here I can now customize the type of statuses or the type of ideas that I have. So I'm going to create kind of a simple set of statuses here that revolve around a backlog. Let's see, let's call this one someday. So these are ideas that I may do someday, but not in the immediate future. I'm going to create another status called up next. Create one called coming soon. And you can customize these in any way you want. You may already have a system that works for you, but kind of this way you'll get the idea of how those work. Okay, so now I've created all of these statuses and I can go navigate back to my calendar or to the ideas board. And now you're going to see that I have all of the statuses that I've created are now visible, and I'm able to move cards between them. For now, I'm just going to keep everything under someday. And what I'm actually going to do is create something called a save view. And you do that right here on the sidebar. And a save view is basically just a option to allow me to customize how this view looks and how people interact with it that I can access very, very quickly. So we're going to call this save view. We're just going to call it backlog. And I'm going to filter this by type. Now this, I'm going to filter this by status. And I'm going to select the statuses that we just created. So someday, up next, coming soon, and to do. Any project that falls in a status that is not part of one of those four is not going to show on the screen, and that's really valuable it's going to be really valuable when we create other save views to manage our sprints. So this is going to be the backlog, so I'm only going to put backlog type statuses here. And I'm also going to default group this by status. That changes this setting up here where I can create columns based on color label, team member, whatever. But for this particular use case, a backlog, status is the best one to use. So that's what we're going to select. And I'm also going to choose to share this with my team. So now anyone who comes into CoSchedule that you invite that has access to the ideas area of the application, they can use it. One thing to keep in mind is that we do have power tips available for save views. If you want to dig in and learn more about how those work, you can get to that there. Okay, so now that I have my save view created, a backlog, I just want to order these columns a little differently. Someday is going to be sort of my furthest down the line. This is just where I kind of put any harebrained idea that I have. And that's where that's going to go. I'm not taking action on it, but it's just a storage place for those ideas. I kind of define coming soon as sort of we're probably going to do it within the next few weeks, or we're looking for an opportunity to prioritize this in a sprint. Up next means this is going to be our next sprint, right? Maybe next week I'm potentially doing this, using this column for towards the end of a week. I'm starting to figure out what projects we want to work on next week. Up next column would be a really good place to sort that. And then to do is a active status that I'm going to use in my Agile workflow to indicate that this task or this project is next, right? We're actively going to move this into an active sprint when we have the next opportunity. So to use this, you're going to want to start adding in your project ideas. And you can create those in any column and Once they're created, obviously we can do some sorting and kind of rearranging based on the priority that we want to execute them in. But let's add a new project and look at some of the things that you can customize. You can customize an owner. By default, it's going to be you, but you can select anybody on your team, or you can leave it unassigned if that works better for you. We have a color label system that can be customized. This here on this calendar is sorted by team, so I'm going to say this is an idea for our public relations team. And right here, I'm going to select a type. We're going to call this an article. That is a type of idea. So you can also customize project types to your liking. You can customize color labels to your liking. All this stuff can be customized, but this is just how I have it set up. So we've created the new great idea. And here's sort of an empty project template. Now, because this is an idea and not an active project, we're probably not going to add too many things to it right now, but a couple things you might want to consider. One is the description field, and the description field is a great place to put a user story if you use that as part of your agile process. So I'm going to just type, as a customer, I would like to blank about blank. So however your format that you use for user stories can go here. We do have specific formats and stuff that we suggest in our Agile book, and you might have your own. But that's a really good place to store that and allow you to access and visualize it quickly. Tags can be added. We have a few tags in the system already, and I'll add a few of those. Those can be used to create deeper levels of categorization as you need it. And the other thing you might want to do at this point is potentially add a text editor where you can write notes, create notes about your idea. So if you're having a chat or there's an email conversation or something going on, and you develop sort of a conversation about it, this is a great place to attach that. If you need to upload files or anything like that, those options are available here as well. So you're starting to kind of get the basics of a project here, but right now this is going to just be an idea status. Once you have that done, ideas can be processed. I may be able to look at this and say, I want to take these are the 3 of the best ideas that I have, and I want to prioritize them this way. As your priorities in the business change, you can adjust that, and we can say this article must write is going to be first, second, third, and as those go along, we can just move them on to the next category. The last category that you're going to move things to is the to-do category. And this will be the status that allows us to pass it over to our sprint board, which is what we're going to cover in the next chapter. That has been a quick overview of the CoSchedule idea board and how to use it to create a backlog.